90% of them were written by the teachers. The students learned how to police each other better and to respect each other in that way. So yes, there's definitely certain ages for things, but we have to also recognize that we have to let people fly at different stages in their academic growth. And I was amazed that we did it in the high school first, and in the middle school, kids were able to do peer mediation. 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, if they're trained properly. So not only do you have to be a certain age, but you have to be trained and really schooled, for lack of a better term, in the proper ways of doing certain things, because of the proper training and knowledge. Knowledge is power. You really can accomplish a lot.
Well, it goes back to the testing thing. You can test, you can qualify, you can get there, but you can, there's skills that we don't judge people on that they can get by. Adulting, as I lumped it all into, and things that aren't, taught as much anymore. I remember when I was in school, there was a couple of experiments. One, they did a all-male class, which was an abysmal failure, and teacher heart attacks just went through the roof. That did not work. They determined that. They told us that at graduation. We're not doing that again.
Right.
But we had things like they made us, the boys took shop and the girls took home economics. Mm-hmm. And they switched around one year, and they said, we're going to have the boys take home economics. Mm. And I thought that was good. And I thought shop was not about making an ugly duck lamp that nobody ever wanted. It was about going through the process and learning how to deal with people. And that's what a lot of education, a lot of traditional school is about. It's about learning how to deal with people and interact with people, readying you for the world. And you don't learn that as well sitting on a screen. And I don't do them as much as some people, but just last night I had an online WebEx with somebody, and we're going over something, and it just still feels a little weird. Mm-hmm. Cool and weird. It's like you're in command of a really lame starship or something. It's not quite where it should be. I mean, we're not as awesome as the great science fiction authors thought we would be. We're kind of lumps with a greater reach. But I think that education is. I feel sad when I see them cutting back a program, arts or something like that, because it's all part of making a rounded person. And, you don't realize the importance of that art class to the creativity, or that music class, the things that we would make fun of at the time or consider the easy classes or whatever. It really does shape, it shapes who you are. Your student that I know, that you can also listen to his interview, you can tell where your English stuff touched on him, because he's such a grammar Nazi. Oh yes, he's so well spoken. And I mean it's just you want to force him to misspell something or something. Good luck. Make a mistake. Yeah, I know. But I thank you for all that you do, and teaching teachers, and I wish you luck. What made you come down from New York to Pennsylvania? So we wanted a change of scenery, so to speak, and we did like some of the communities we saw in Pennsylvania. Where were you in New York? I was in Rockland County, New York, about 30 miles north of New York City. Okay. And I was born in Yonkers, then moved to Florida, as I said earlier, for 2 years. So we do like it here. We like the aura of the place, and it was time for a change. We were in the same house for 20-something years. My wife's mother just passed away recently, and that was the house my wife was born in over 54 years ago. So it was just time for a change, and we really love it here, and I want to spread my wings a little bit myself. So happy to be here. Love Pennsylvania. Only been here 4 months, but I love every day of it so far. Sorry about the weather. Right. That's different. We have beautiful falls. Yes. Beautiful falls. Wasn't long enough, but you did have a beautiful fall. Yeah, it was the best 3 days of the year. Yeah. It was nice. And what else do we have in Pennsylvania that's good? I'm down here. Cheesesteak. That's down here. So I was going to say cheesesteak. Right. soft pretzels.
Yep, had those already, definitely.
And for some reason, the further you get away from here, pizza just gets worse. Or something
please!
happens.
New York pizza is really good. So
New York is one little bastion, but it's amazing how you get away from an urban area and pizza just goes downhill.
Yeah, same thing with bagels.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's in general. I think it's breads. I think it's really breads. I think it's something.
Could be. Some say it's the water in New York is so good for that. So
and they say the water here. We have really high rated water in Philadelphia, and I would think coming from New York that we probably seem calmer.
Oh, there's no doubt. I'll tell you. The service is slower here because in New York it is so speedy fast. We weren't used to that, but you guys are so nice. I don't want to bash New York, but I mean, we almost had car accidents because we go to a 4-way stop and people are letting us in first, which I'm not used to. Or, if I'm
after you.
After you. So I'm like, no, you. And just stopping in the middle of a road to let me in. I'm like, what are you doing? Is there an emergency? So it's great. So I love the people here, and we've had a great time so far, and I hope to make my mark here as I did in New York.
See, it's and that's Mark with a K, the proper way.
That's you. Mark. I'll make my mark.
Yeah,
correct.
That's with a K, the way it's supposed to be spelled.
Exactly.
I had to get that in there.
Yeah, no problem.
It's funny you say we're nice though, because
I'm telling you, not that New York is mean, but there's a faster pace there. Everybody's in a hurry, and I don't.
When
I
would go out west, they would say, "Where are you from, New York?" Because in a rush, no. Philadelphia? Yeah. You can tell.
Yep,
and
definitely.
They can tell on us because we are in a rush and we're anxious. But people from New York are like, when I drive up to New York, I have to be on top of my game. There's no doddering. They will eat you alive.
And if you go in Manhattan, you better have your gloves on, your helmet on, and get in there and do what you have to do. They will
eat you alive. Yeah. And it's all relative. Like when I look at, I was doing a house inspection and the woman came home. And she told her husband they're from New York, and she said, "Oh my God, guess what? You know what?" He said, "I got a parking spot. It's only a block away. It's unheard of.
Oh, forget about it.
They have to walk a block.
When you get one only a block, yeah. But when you get in New York, though, if you get a spot easily, you start to question yourself. Where's the sign that I can't park here? How did I get this spot? Why did somebody leave this spot open? Something's wrong."
Yeah. I have buddies up there. It's like. You try and pass the spot on to someone else, too. Right. You wait till someone else has to park.
Yeah, you want to pay it forward.
Yeah, and you just transfer that spot. You hand it down to people. But, if we can do anything to help you, I think this is great. And I know a bunch of teachers, and we'll put it out there and everything, and it's something that I know you had said you'd reach out to a couple local schools about doing stuff gratis to just let people see what you can do.
Right. Certainly the Diversity Defeated, Overcoming Adversity, and Turning Struggles into Strengths. First 2 high schools that call up, I'm there because I want to show them, what I can do, and more importantly, make a change in some people's lives. And happy to do that to my new home here in Pennsylvania. And work with some local people. That would be my pleasure.
Well, and that's a generous offer. But thank you very much. Anything you want to say in closing?
That's it. I want to thank everybody. Just let them know that the Adversity Defeated by Marc Hoberman can be found on Amazon.com, as can Highly Effective Teaching Strategies, and also the book I co-authored, A Journey to Recovery. That can all be found on Amazon, Kindle, and Adversity Defeated last week came out as an audiobook, so you can get that on Audible also. And a teacher friend of mine, Bill Hooper, has a great reading voice, and he actually did that for me. So I'm excited about that. That's coming out. That came out last week, actually.
Did you want to read your own book?
Interesting. I loved reading it, to read it in my brain, but to read it out loud for other people to listen to, I didn't think I wanted to do that.
You didn't want to hear that much of you.
No. I've heard enough of me.
Yeah.
For 56 years, it's enough. But he did a great job.
No, that's amazing that 3 books, and life gets in the way and it blocks us from everybody's got a book in them.
Sure.
And life blocks us. And the only thing I didn't talk about that I wanted to say was we both have a passion for as seen on TV things, which we talked about before the show.
Yep.
It's a weakness, and somehow and younger people won't understand this, but the way they, phrase those commercials, but if you act now, and we were debating on who had the most as seen on TV.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? I've used it in my business now because they're called calls to action. So you don't, like back in the day, they'd have a beautiful model laying over a car. And the whole thing is, if I buy this car, I'm going to get that model. And it's going to be a chick magnet. So I get it now as a business person. My sons actually run the marketing end of my business because I don't know it that way. But they know the talking points and the calls to action and act now. And, and when you try to go off the page, it says, no, for 20% off. I mean, you can't get off.
Yeah, it is a whole psychology tool.
Absolutely.
People realize,
Yeah.
And then there is just the ludicrous part of it is like, do you hate making waffles in the bathtub?
Yeah, right.
Who's coming up with these accommodations?
Yeah, if there's no problem, they'll create one, and here's the solution to the problem that you're never going to run into, and it's only $9.95, and it's free for the second one with $5 shipping and handling.
Right, and then you open it up, and you're explaining to some woman in your life why you got this thing. As you pitchfork it onto the pile of other
ones. I have them all. I'm going to have a good sale on eBay one of these days.
Some of that stuff may be classic.
Oh, definitely.
What's your favorite as seen on TV thing?
I don't know if it's my favorite. I mean, I did the shake weight. It's my favorite because of, I had a personal trainer back in Rockland because of how much he made fun of me for buying it. Because he knew, so he said, so let me see. So you take it and you shake it and you paid money for this. Yes, and I actually waited by the door for it to come and be delivered by UPS. I paid extra for fast shipping. So I've done all that. I bought so many things. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you all the things. I don't know what my favorite is, but that one was my favorite talking piece because I never threw it out, and it's under my bed, and I pulled it out and I said, here it is. So, it'll be in the Smithsonian someday.
Let's hope society doesn't get to the point where we're putting shake weights in the Smithsonian.
Then we know we have a problem. That's another interview entirely.
I think my favorite was Mr. Microphone.
So microphone was great. Now you're really dating yourself. You're going back to some old things.
Yeah. And you could just broadcast inappropriate sexist remarks through car radios across the way.
Definitely. And they run the gamut from all kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Whenever you're ready, Russell, hit the button.